First of all, before we're officially starting the meeting, I just want to acknowledge our guest, Dave, coming back for it's been a little while since we've seen you, and thank you for connecting Mary and with Dawn and Mary joining. Johnny was a really active, member and participant in the past with MEO, and MEO does so much for our community. So I wanted to give you a chance to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about what what your role is now with MEO here and what your focus is.
Alrighty. My name is Mary Brook. But you can call me Hawaiʻi. I grew up here in Hana, and I'm so glad to be back. My background is I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in business administration. A lot of my background in transportation. Was currently in Utah, where I was over distribution from the West Coast to the East Coast, mostly transporting for, I don't know if you guys heard them, it's for McLean, which is the biggest food distributor in the United States for a lot of the fast food restaurants. I was over 29 restaurant chains. Also, the eggs that you were in, that you bought from Costco, the brown ones, they call it the organic. I was over that for about 6 years. Those come from Indiana. It goes from the New York for all the Costcos, including Hawaii. And how I got home was I came home to help my mother. My mom was a teacher here in Hana and in Maui High School for about 52 years. She taught science and PE. And I came home because she wasn't doing well, and I stayed home. And that's why I'm here.
Mary, who's your mom?
My mother was Betty Lou Kala.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she taught at Hana School. And well, she taught a lot of the people here. I was about preschool. I think it was preschool when I first started here in Hana, like how everyone else, they start in preschool. And so I was lucky to have her just a couple years as a teacher in my science. But other than that, my family and I moved here. My husband is a football coach for Hana. And my husband is a retired military from the Marine Corps. And our families moved here. I have one of my nephews that lives here with us as well. That grew up with me. And when I got hired here, first when I moved back to Hana, I worked for Federal Express because it was one of the companies that we did backup for. My company did in the mainland, which the name of the company I worked for was CR England. You can look it up. It's the distribution trucking company where we did reefer and vans. We moved freight from one point to the next and overseas as well. And as I was working for FedEx, I worked really hard to get a position in Hana, and due to some unforeseen changes, I was able to see the listing of MEO. And as I read about it, about the company, I thought it was neat because a lot of the things in my personality just fits. And so I applied, and I was blessed to, after several months of going back and forth and waiting and a lot of hurdles we had to jump over. I was blessed to get the position in Hana. And one of the things that they told me when I got hired was Hana has a lot of opportunity and they need Hana to grow. And as I was looking at it and looking at seeing that we're a nonprofit and we have all these county contracts, I realized that Hana does have a lot of opportunities. And I guess it was like 20 something contracts that MEO was granted to help out for Hana, and a lot of it wasn't getting utilized. I think it was probably about 3, maybe 4 at the most. So my task when I got hired was to get as much as we can to help Hana grow. And so we went from about 3 or 4 contracts. We're now at 11. We just brought on number 12. But we're actually gradually, slowly expanding because we want to make sure that it's a steady, stable growth that we can sustain to help Hana, long-term wise. And so we have a good team behind us, and I'm glad there was a lot of support from the community in it, from the youth, the kupunas, as well as the workforce, that we could able to expand and use these county contracts to help benefit Hana to grow and to help the needs of what the Hana people need, being that we're out so remote that myself, I thought, why doesn't Hana get a chance to do that? Why can't we do that? So we're just constantly pushing the bucket and trying to help Hana grow in a way that it's stable and it's for us, the people. And so, yeah. Any good questions?
I'm just looking for the applause button. I'm so excited that you're able in here, and it's a perfect engagement too, having Kim on the line, because you would be one of the resources I think that could offer a lot of insight into the program that she's involved with and seeking input from. So anyone else have any response to Mary or questions?
Hey, Mary, just give them a quick rundown of what the programs or services that MEO covers right now on Hana.
Okay. Alrighty. Right now we cover anyone that works, meaning we look at our businesses in Hana, like for instance, Hasegawa. Hasegawa had to close down some hours because they didn't have workforce. And we went out, my team and I went out and spoke to Harry and asked him, say, hey, what can we do to help you expand your hours so the people of Hana have more time to shop? They said they needed help with workers. So they've got workers, and what we're doing is we help pick them up, bring them to work, and take them home. So he knows that he can count on them to show up and make sure that the store is open. So every day we pick up for Hana store, Hasegawa, the post office, the bank, and various positions in the hotel, as well as all farmer markets that's out there, as well as the gas station. And as we keep expanding our services, which we pick up from Kianai, as far as right now, Puiki side, we pick up workforce people to help Hana, and we pick them up to work and take them home. So that's one. Then we also we have expanded our youth trends, meaning we help the school right now currently supply transportation for the children that lives out in remote areas that has not passed the school year but needs help to pass to move forward in their schooling. We help with that, and also for the reading, children that need help reading, writing, we help transport them as well from Kianai to Puiki as well. Also, the sports, any after-school programs, we haul for them. We have excursions. Right now, for this month, we have probably about 15 excursions that were already booked for. I had 2 that got booked this afternoon as well, which will also help out in the community for the canoe regatta, the flag football, the wrestling that's been going on, or any sports that the children of Hana needs to, you know, be incorporated with. We also help with dialysis, transporting clients to and from dialysis, also to the doctor's appointments here in Hana, as well as in Honolulu and back. Sometimes we run 2 shuttles to the other side, and we have 3 shuttles actually that runs in Hana currently to help with the amount of response and people that we have right now currently to sustain us that needs, you know, our help. So there's about, I mean, I can go into details about different ones about it, but mostly it's geared for our community, the needs of what we need in Hana that currently Kahului and Wailuku has services there, but we don't have, you know, a bus service. So we're here to help serve the community in any way possible, whether it's kupunas or the youth or even the clubs. We support all Hana clubs and what their needs are, helping them as well to grow. Another thing is that we're encouraging a lot of the people to expand their education, take advantage of, there's like these business courses that we do offer to encourage them to do that, and, you know, to be self-reliant, to think outside of the box, and, you know, you can do it. You know, even though we live in Hana, we're remote, but that shouldn't be a roadblock for us. We have the opportunity to do it, take it, you know, and do a lot of encouraging. And we also have programs to help prisoners when they get out of prison, to help them, to get them on their feet so they can be self-reliant and not be a menace to society, but to be a citizen that can help. And, you know, because everyone makes mistakes, you know, everybody deserves a second chance. And that's what we do to help them, as well as supplying aid to housing, electricity, their utilities, just help that they would need, everyday needs to go by, and, you know, just move forward. And there's lots more, but we're getting there. Our team is very excited. It took them a little while to align themselves with my thinking and how I wanted us to grow to help the Hana community. But it's been really, I got a really good team, and the thing about it is that they care about Hana, and that's the main purpose. And I tell them, I said, hey, if you think about the people and what they know, everything else will fall in place. And so that's what we're going with and want to push for our Hana people.
As Hawaiʻi is such an amazing leader of MEO. She mentioned a lot that they do, and I think she missed a couple of things, but they have empowered our community to do more, participate in community meetings like Bala Ausesh, the mayor coming out to Hana. MEO was happy to bring our seniors, although even from Kianai. And then I wanted to mention with Valley Owl Excursions, Nichole didn't mention it, but they helped us through the pandemic by doing like an instant part for our community because our town was shut down. And to take that kukua and, you know, they are part, Ray, I'm almost gonna get emotional, but Ray and Yoli has been participating with us for over 30 years.
Yeah.
They're the ones who attended community meetings. Now we have Aloha, you know, being engaged with our community and being part of our Keiki Fest and supporting. They supported us last year. But when we were such in a need, you know, hats off Valley Out Excursions for doing that service to the community of East Maui. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah. If you want to introduce
Yeah.
Stacy or yeah.
I was muted and had my camera off because I'm at the wrestling gym right now with all the kids. So it's pretty, there's lots of distraction. But thank you, Heidi, for the introduction. I'd like to introduce Stacy. She's our currently our director of marketing. I've known Stacy for pretty much all my life. And she grew up in my household pretty much with my mom and dad. So she's been around us and my family and knows our heart as far as the uniqueness and how important the Hana community is for us, even outside of our Valley Outer excursions. I grew up on the road to Hana with my mom being a guide for 32 years. She would literally take me on her bus, drop me off in Kenai. I'd spend weeks in Kenai with the families out there. And then as she took another group of tourists back out, she picked me up and took me back home. So as a tour operator, it's really important for us to be leaders in the industry to the point that our number one goal is to serve the community. Everything we do in our business is to create a resource for the Hana community through our business. Not the other way. Hana is not our resource. We are the resource for the community. And I understand completely that not every tour company out there shares that same perspective, but it is so important that there be a standard, at least, for all tour companies in which they operate out there. And the community needs to be able to have a platform to set that standard because it's your community. And so that's why I'm here, part of the Hana Business Council. I want to be able to be the leader and make those connections within the tour industry so that we can say, hey, look, this is what the community needs from us as tour operators. I'm going to stand behind them, you know, and everybody else should as well. So Stacy being our marketing director, that is why I invited her, is because as a tour operator, we need to be sending the right message. We need to be in our marketing and everything that we communicate to our guests and even our employees has to be in line with what the needs of East Maui is, because that is our goal in operating our tours, is to serve the community. So I invited Stacy in so that she can kind of hear in the communication and the ideas, and that way we can start blasting out the message that is in line with what the needs of the community are to our audience, which is the guests, whether they choose to travel with a tour operator or to choose to travel on their own. They're going to be at some point touching base, either social media or websites as they research and prepare for their journey to Maui. So that's why it's important for us to really be in line with our message, and that's Stacy's position here and why I've asked to invite her. We do have a really big project that we are going to put some time and investment into, and that's really the to showcase like the do's and don'ts of the road to Hana, but not just in a paper platform, but to really capture the community's voice, doing live audio interviews, putting that into our media package on our website so that people who visit our website who are planning to travel to Hana can hear it from the community themselves. And in order to do that, we need to solicit the cooperation of the community. And I understand that's a really big ask, but I'm also asking from a point that help kind of aspect. So that's where Stacy's here to kind of make the connections of if there's anybody you know that may be interested in participating in this project. We would really love to connect. And if they're camera shy, we also have opportunities for them to do blog writing, you know, share the importance and the real cultural history that they know from their family's historic experiences out there in Hana. For certain places, you know, why we don't want people to go to certain places. What's the cultural value? What's the significant personal meaning to families behind these special places? So if they're camera shy, they don't want to talk about it on camera, we also have opportunities for them to just write about it. And these are paid opportunities too. We're not asking for anybody to work for free. But this is an opportunity that we really want to solicit the community and really be authentic with it and to really mimic the voice of the needs of the community through our marketing. And that's going to help us send the correct message, and it's also going to help us attract the right type of guest. And we want the guests that really sincerely cares about what's happening in Hana and the community and how they can make a positive impact. Not just drawing Hana as a beautiful experience, but how do we give back? You know, I gained so much from being a tour operator. How do I translate that to giving more back to the community to keep that cycle growing? So sorry, that's a long-winded introduction.
No worries. Hi, everyone. I know everyone's busy. You probably have more on your agenda. I'll just say hi. I am going to work to get to know more of the Hana community and the movers and shakers out there. But Nichole pretty much shared everything. The ask is that we are looking to be, when we design our content and we do our marketing, we want it to be authentic. We want it to come from the people. We don't want to hire anyone outside of the Hana community or outside of Hawaiʻi to write our blog content for us. The stories and the type of messages that we want to share, we want it to come from our own. So we're reaching out to you if you have any to spread that opportunity. Like you said, blog writing, I'll be out there also on the 24th and 25th filming interviews. I'll coordinate interviews. So I guess I'll send you an email of the dates that will be available. And we haven't actually outlined what the interview pay would look like, but for blog writing, it would range around $150 per piece. And it can be as short as a 5-paragraph kind of piece. And I guess I should send you by email kind of more in structure what this writing opportunity is like. But I think it's way better to have the people of Hana share whatever messages, whether it's strictly around the do's and don'ts types of messaging, or just like she said, special meaning for a special place for their family or culture and things like that. And there is the question of what more can we support? Because when we look at our sustainability plan, I'm also the sustainability coordinator for our company. A big part of that trifecta is the people, right? So I'm giving back to the community and making sure equity and to share in sharing what we are able to profit. And so we're always looking for those opportunities. So like for Carol, thank you for all you do for putting together the Hana Fest. I know we'll hopefully be able to support that in some way. But those are the kind of things that we're looking to participate more and engage in with. So just keep us abreast. I'm sorry that I should have sent you something in writing ahead of time.
No, you know, we have to postpone our meeting because our board members are otherwise occupied. I'm just going to be graceful like that. And so if we postpone this for a week, maybe that'll give you time to maybe put something together that we can put out on the agenda and just note that we're going to have it. I don't know if you're available, you know, in the same little talk story at the beginning of our meeting like now.
No,
but
it'll be just more the information of what you can circulate to them. And then if they have any leads or references, they can send it right back to me. My contact information will be in there. And I'll meet you all in person in these community events. I'll make my way out to Hana a little bit more. So I know I see faces.
Yeah. Well, Before we sign off, we have Kimberly here, and I wanted you to just, I think that there are some really interesting connections for you. I definitely want to connect you and Mary, because, and please go ahead and introduce yourself and give a little update on what's happening, if it's happening here on Thursday, or if we're just getting you information.
Sure. Yeah. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to connect with everybody. So my name is Kim Thayer. I am from Haiku, but I live in Paukukalo now. So this is the Wailuku River mouth. That's my daughter in the stream back there. So I work for a company called Skog Rasmussen. It's basically my mom, my cousin, and another partner. And we do kind of like community engagement work and assistance with grants for all sorts of entities around Hawaii and even some on the continent. But the project we're coming to Hana for is we are contracted by the state to work on the Hawaii Digital Equity Plan. Which, long story short, the feds are putting out a ton of money to all the states, recognizing that, you know, when COVID happened and everybody was cut off from everybody, it became very apparent, especially here in Hawaii, that if you don't have internet and a working computer or a phone, then you're basically cut off from the whole entire world. And which is, you know, a problem for schooling for kids. It's for people to see their doctor. It's for kupuna to be in touch with their ohana. You know, it's all sorts of paying bills, everyday life. And so the point is to really get in touch with like the unserved and underserved people. So as part of putting the plan together, our goal is to reach out to like the remote communities all across the island. So places like Hana, where it's not just rural, but you have like kupuna, you have minorities, there's people with English as a second language, there's people who were previously incarcerated, veterans, but all of these groups of people that often are left behind by a lot of programs. And so our goal in coming to Hana is to talk story with you know, people who are willing to share their experiences. So what kind of challenges there are, what kind of needs people have with respect to like smartphones, computers, internet connections, affordability, the quality of your internet. And then also an important part is like the literacy. So like knowing how to use a computer, knowing how to connect to the internet, making use of these tools, you know, if there's any software needs, but, you know, also helping people connect with jobs, starting businesses. And so we have a talk story session scheduled for Thursday, July 13th, but our team is staying over to the 14th. And so we're trying to use the time to talk to as many people on the east side as possible. And we're trying to hear, you know, like personal stories, because those really paint the picture, like personal challenges. There's already been a couple of people who have called. I had somebody called me from Kipahulu, somebody else called me from Hana. They couldn't make the meeting, but they wanted to tell me their stories of how it's been hard to connect to their house. I got to walk down a mile down the road to my friend's house to be able to plug in my phone and back up my, you know, data, download emails and things like that. So like hearing those stories will give us the ability to put together a stronger plan that meets everybody's needs and hopefully gets everybody, you know, connected and with all the tools that they need. So hopefully that's not too long, but if that gives you enough to work with as far as what our goals are for coming out to Hana.